Welcome back to the Packers Corner, gentlemen. We got a victory finally. There are no moral victories in football, so it helps when you get an actual one. It was a little bit touch and go there, but we beat Jameis Winston, who had me a little bit anxious and nervous, despite the drops on offense and defense, and we persevered. So we'll break it down after the break here, talk about Packers, Giants, and the victory we saw on Sunday, and then look forward ahead towards next week. Take a little time to go around the NFC North, too. We'll see you on the other side.
Winning isn't everything, but it's the only thing. In our business, there is no second place. Either you're first or you're last.
It was named after Vince Lombardi. You play in Green Bay. As important as it is to any other team, it means more to us.
When he walked into the meeting, he looked us right in the eye. He said, "Gentlemen, we're going to relentlessly chase perfection."
My first thought was on any play with my arm strength. I may not let anybody know this, but my first thought was home run. On every play. On every play.
He did what? Fires into the end zone. Caught! Touchdown! No!
Well, gentlemen, we're in first place in the NFC North. Schmitty, are you riding high after the victory? Well, who's ahead of us?
The Bears.
Oh,
Bear down,
dang it.
baby. Black
Dang it.
Black Nails kid.
The Bears.
That can't
The
be.
the Bears.
Check it out.
That can't be. No, I
That's
forgot
what
about
you're
it.
With, baby.
Chicago Bears.
Wow. How could you forget about our friends from the South?
I didn't even look at
Shame.
them. I just looked at us, compared the Lions and the Vikings, and said, wow, we're good. We got
Oh,
another team to
shame.
reckon with this year, don't we?
Shame on you. Yes,
Schmitty.
we do. Yes, we do. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
Who is the favorite team now? You rooting for the winner?
We are. You can lead. You can clip this. What you said to start the episode for next week when we take the North again, because we are the favorites, Griffey. I'm not going to say that we aren't. As much as I wanted to go the other way with how Sunday made me feel, just a large amount of confliction as to whether we are, in fact, the ones to contend with in the North. Just with how that game shook out, we had so many opportunities to just run away with that thing. Think of all those picks that Jameis tried to throw us. Think of all those drops that we had for Jordan. Jordan going out for a stint there. Malik Willis having an absolute drive there. And so that sense of confliction I'm having is that, like, I saw a good game out of Jordan. He shouldn't have taken that hit. That was silly of him. I don't know what it's going to take for Matt to get it through his head, that he just cannot be taking those hits. We absolutely need him if we're going to have any chance for a postseason run. The Giants, much like some of the other teams, like I said, we've played previous, like the recipe was every fourth down, unless they were at their own 30, they were going to go for it. And they were successful, and they were able to keep us down to, I think, 7 meaningful possessions. So the Giants, their game plan was executed very well, and we didn't have anything to say about that. And so I'm conflicted in the sense that the Giants were able to gash us up the gut, as many teams have this year, but yet we find a way with Christian Watson coming in the absolute clutch. Thank God. Goody already signing this kid for another year. He is paramount to our success this year. And so that ball that Jordan had in the corner of the end zone to Christian Watson, you're just in disbelief, and you're reminded that he has, again, the arm talent that will take you to places that just come with champagne showers, Griffey, if he can maintain that level of play. And so there's times where he doesn't. Again, more confliction. We just week in, week, I just don't know if we are the best team in the North any given week, because sometimes You got a team like the Bears every once in a while nipping at your heels, but they can dispel a lot of this angst that I'm feeling. You got 3 divisional matchups right in front of your face. It's time to go, baby.
Well, speaking of angst, Dad, how do you feel about the wide receivers' hands for the Green Bay Packers this week?
Oh boy, I don't know where to start. There's positive. We won the game. Okay, let's say that. And you're not going to get me in a bad mood today. It's the pinnacle of the seasons. I spent the day in the woods. I had $5 chasing the doe around. The big bad boy limping on one leg chases the other $4 off. I almost get a shot at the big giant. I got to go duck hunting with my son on the weekend, and we shot ducks about like the Packers caught footballs, didn't we, Griff? Good Lord, the
That's
sun
fair.
was in our eyes. We couldn't swing on the birds. The muck was too thick. We were like shooting off of a bar of soap on ice skates. We had plenty of excuses. I don't know what the Packers' excuses were, but I will say this. I'm going to start off positive because I'm feeling so good, full of good, fresh Wisconsin air, looking at those beautiful whitetails out there in the wild. I said for the last couple of years in a game like this, will one player step up and say, not today, not on my watch, not with me having any control over it. I will not let this team lose. Christian Watson, God bless you. Savion Williams, God bless you, coming up with the plays that made the difference in the game. Christian did have one drop along the sidelines there. We'll forget that because he caught the 2 balls in the end zone. But young players stepped up, fairly young. Christian, not all that young anymore, but maybe we got a leader. Maybe we got somebody stepping forward as a number one. Boy, Romeo, I know he's hurt. I think he has a bruised sternum or something. Maybe that had something to do with it. But man, did he have some key drops. But anyway, when it mattered most, we got the job done. Carrington Valentine, a week on the jugs machine, please. Keyshawn Nixon, a week on the jugs machine, please. Javon Bullard, please, on the jugs machine. Romeo, jugs, Wicks. I don't even care if they run a pattern. I don't care if they practice. I don't care if they run. Schmitty, right. We got the triangle on top, right? Fingers together, pinkies together if it's low. And let's get back to the fundamentals, right, Griff? None of the, here's Carrington Valentine. Or. Let it hit it in your chest. And then, are you, anyway, I wasn't going to go there. We got the victory. And I'm very proud of our boys, Christian Watson and Savion Williams. Let's leave it there for the moment.
Well, can we settle for just the receivers catching the ball? I could be happy with that. The defensive backs, they're going to miss some.
When it's in your chest,
the receivers got to catch the ball.
Backs? Come on.
So, but you're right. We did catch 2 opportune passes, particularly the moon ball off the back foot to Savion Williams, and then the touchdown catch by Christian Watson. Great stuff there. Derek Kermrye's got to be reeling. The noted Christian Watson unbeliever and Romeo Dobbs supporter, he's got to be reeling a little bit there. But I was nervous that we wouldn't get a defensive stand there at the end when we needed it. And, I don't know that we did. It seemed like that, was it Jalen Hyatt that kind of gave up on that corner route? He left Jameis out to dry, and we were a little bit fortunate that way. But, Schmitty, this vaults us up. We got another win in the tally mark, in the win column there. And so we're in position here. You mentioned we got 3 division games coming up back to back to back. What do you take from this game against the Giants? They found a way to win a close game here. But what do you take moving forward the rest of the season here?
Well, I take that you have an offensive line that's actually reputable. With given how you lose Elton Jenkins and you go up against the Giants pass rush and just offensive line in general. Dexter Lawrence is no joke of a player at defensive tackle, and you had Sean Ryan had that's what an absolute test for you. Your first week as a starter for the season, you had to go up against Dexter Lawrence all day. So the offensive line gave him plenty of help. Did you see that Brooks block that set up that Savion Williams catch? Those are the things that are very important. I really like that Wiley tight end. Okay. Matt's going to have to scheme up some of these looks that on offense that teams aren't necessarily expecting. I harken back to last year when you had Malik as the quarterback for a couple of those games. Like, I just think we need to scheme up our guys better offensively. Jordan's just throwing these chuck up balls, and we're coming down with them. But now that you have the division in front of you, extremely important that you come away with these wins. The Giants gave us a good test, and I'm just thankful that we don't have to play that game I talked about last week. That we get to see another day, and so you had to beat the Giants, and so we did. I'm happy, as Gar stated. How can you not start off with being positive, because you took care of business against the Giants on the road, and so this was a must-win game, and we did.
Well, and you drew a line in the sand last week, Dad. You said, I'm done with this coach. And I think you really would have been done if it weren't for a few key plays. If we don't have the Savion catch, if we don't have the Watson catch, if we don't have Malik Willis ripping one into the end zone, that might have been the throw of the day, despite all the good ones Jordan Love had. And you don't have a receiver running the wrong route for the Giants down the stretch there. So it's a fine line between winning and losing in the NFL, and we got it done. But where would you be on Matt LaFleur if we wouldn't have gotten that one done, Dad?
Well, you bring up the yin and the yang here, and I told you I was going to go positive, and so I did. But I had the same feeling. I thought, after the Carolina game, as the game's winding down, I thought to myself, win, lose, or draw, we have a problem. I mean, and I felt the same way in this one. Okay, same thing. If we win, we still have a problem. Okay, now I was on the floor last week. Now I'm going to get on Jeff Hafley. Mr. Hafley, would you get the A-gaps mugged up? Would you get Edgerrin Cooper where he can make a play? He hasn't made a frickin' play all year because you haven't put him in position. Would you put some pressure on the quarterback? Would you get the team 3 and out? Would you run blitz on early downs? And would you stop letting teams go and cut, death by 1,000 cuts, 10 play drives, 13 play drives, 9 play drives? Because the Giants possessed the ball for 12 more minutes, boys. They ran the ball 38 times. Mr. Defensive Coordinator, I know your DBs dropped 4 or 5 interceptions, and I'm sure that was your game plan. But please, close circuit to Coach Hafley. Do not let J.J. McCarthy run the ball and get in rhythm by making short passes. Light him up with blitzes. Change the picture. Make him not know where it's coming from. And stop being the least blitzing team in the NFL. Turn your horses loose, especially Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker, if he's good enough to play in this game. And I am sick and tired of the other team being able to execute their game plan, Schmitty. You know what the game plan was. We're going to possess the ball. We're going to make first downs. We're going to go for every fourth down. What have we got to lose? Guess what? We're running into the same kind of team this week. And for the love of Pete, they got a big problem over there with J.J. McCarthy. We've chronicled it pretty well, Griff. It's not looking good for J.J., but it could all turn around in 1 week if Mr. Hafley lets McCarthy get in a rhythm. So let's not do it. Dictate to them. They've been dictating to us. I'm tired of it. We dictate to them with the way we play defense.
Well, fair enough. Hopefully we'll be able to do that. Schmitty, did you have a chance to scout the opposition? We were watching your Chicago Bears versus the Minnesota Vikings last week, and rough couple of quarters. Again, there have been few exceptions in between the dismal outings that JJ has shown for the majority of the games he's played in. But he's had a couple opportune drives, hit another one against the Bears, drove them down to take the lead. Looked like the Vikings were going to win, and special teams lets the Vikings down. But did you have a chance to tune into that one?
From what I saw, Griffey, I saw a team that was not behind their quarterback, number 9, and JJ. Yes, he led them to one drive where he looked really good. Aside from that, I think it was pretty much doom and gloom. Had he not had those heroics there for that drive, that team is totally down on him. I think there was a clip of Justin Jefferson, like McCarthy comes by and like, hey, let's get this next one, and Jefferson's like, dude, leave me alone, man. There has to be something in that locker room. They don't believe in this kid. And how could you? I think he's had, what does he have? 2-3 touchdowns, 9 interceptions in 6 games. That's not winning recipe football. And so my worry, as Gar said, like, KOC is, we love KOC on this podcast, and so if there's one coach that can turn around a quarterback's career, it seemingly is KOC, and it might just be with the Packers against the Packers. So there's not a lot right now the Vikings are doing that are necessarily scary. Do they have one of the best wide receivers? Yes. Do they have a defense with some senior leadership that the team? I mean, if we think about the makeup of the Vikings, and we said this going into the year, it all hinged on McCarthy to be successful. And if he wasn't, that you would get a team that's about where they're at this point of the season. And so if you're a Vikings fan right now, like, this is your turning point. You look at this Packers game as your turning point, going into Lambeau, getting a win, then like that could catapult them. That's the back half of the season. So the Packers need to take this game very seriously, because the Vikings are going to do absolutely anything in their power to take this victory.
Dad, your boy, Opie, I think you like to refer to J.J. McCarthy as. Where does that come from?
Well, he's wet behind the ears. He's green in the gills. He thinks he's an alter ego number 9. He puts black paint all over his face, and he's Opie from Mayberry RFD. Opie doesn't belong running around with black paint on his face and having an alter ego. You come into the league with a little humility. It's like Schmitty says, the act isn't working with his teammates. JJ's over like, get away from me, number 9. You got no alter ego. You got no business doing anything but shutting up and showing up and playing the game. And you don't come to some press conference, oh, I'm late because I had to get a lift in. I mean, the guy is so naive. He is so out of touch with reality. He thinks he's at Michigan at some fraternity party. And for crying out loud, this is grown men in the NFL who don't put up with this crap. And I just hope and pray 2 things. Jeff Hafley, light him up. And number 2, Vikings, don't put Max Brozer in the game. Please do not put him in the game and have him go off on us. And maybe do have him going off on us, and then you got a real controversy. But I want no part of Max Brosmer. I'm going to tell you right now, do not let that kid on the field.
No, I'm not familiar with Mayberry RFD.
Oh, well, Opie is Andy Sheriff's redheaded son, who actually is Ronnie Howard, the actor. Okay, when Opie was a child actor, and it was Aunt B and Opie, at home, and Opie was a little bit of a whoop-de-doop-de-doo. I mean, the Mayberry RFD rural road kid who was a little green behind the gills and a little naive. And I just think it fits JJ to a T. The kid doesn't get it. I mean, he's got a big arm. We've talked about it 100. He played at Michigan, number 1 defense, number 1 running game, never had to see a cloudy picture, never had to make an unclean throw, never had to throw there wasn't separation, never had to throw in adverse conditions. And now he's in the NFL, and maybe he'll figure it out. But he has got to totally change his attitude with his team, because the veterans are not buying this. And I'll just reiterate, this team blew it when they let Sam Darnold go. It was the dumbest thing in the history of mankind. I've been saying it since last January. How good would it look with Sam Darnold there? You keep him for 3 years. You let McCarthy come up and sit behind him and don't let him play till he's ready. And everything that's happened is predictable. But Schmitty, you're right. It doesn't change the fact that if Jeff Hafley does not put pressure on this kid, KOC could scheme it up for him to get in rhythm and be a big problem for us. And I don't want to see it happen. And I'll tell you what, Mr. LaFleur, this game might be a moratorium on your coaching ability. Last year, you lost 2 times to this guy, to this team. You lost 2 times to the Lions. You should have lost twice to the Bears. And so you have to have been pointing to this segment of the season all off season long. Now, would you play, Schmitty, who's the best player on the roster who doesn't hardly ever play? Malik Willis.
Yes.
Malik Willis. Okay? Best ass. Now, I'm not saying there's any controversy at quarterback, but how about putting both these guys on the field at the same time? How about splitting Malik out, and then you have a jet sweep, you toss him the ball, you run him around the end, then guess what? The next play, you toss him the ball and he throws it down the field. Then he takes it on a wide and throws it back to Jordan Love. And Jordan Love, how about a little Detroit Lion creativity like that with one of your best players, a little Taysom Hill stuff? Griff, you and I could draw it up in 5 minutes and send it to the coach, and we'd have a series of plays that could be game-winning plays, but I don't know if LaFleur's got it in him, but boy, Malik Willis, where would we be without that kid? Cool as a cucumber, full of athleticism, running ability. Don't mistake what I'm saying for the fact there's any quarterback controversy. There's not. Jordan Love is one hell of an NFL quarterback, but Malik Willis is one hell of an athlete who plays quarterback.
I'm okay with Malik with a baseball cap and a clipboard on over on the sidelines there. Just fine. I'm glad we have him if we need him, but I'm okay with him standing next to Coach LaFleur. A week ago, I thought you were ready for Coach Halfley here, Dad. Now it sounds like he's on the hot seat with you, too. We'll see if there's any lines in the sand for him in a week's time. Schmitty, I want to get your perspective on some quarterback talk here. Talk about where you see, well, first of all, I want to congratulate Jordan Love on the game that he had real quickly. If it weren't for those drops, can you imagine what his QB rating would have been? It would have been through the roof. That said, I want to evaluate at this point in the year how you feel about the quarterbacks in the NFC North. What's your power ranking heading into the back stretch here?
Ooh, that's a really good question, Griffey, because I mean, obviously JJ is number 4, but the other 3, Jared, Caleb, and Jordan, they're all it's a horse race. I mean, every week someone of those 3 does something special where you're like that. Yes, they are the best quarterback in the league. Now, I will, as much as you dislike Caleb Williams, I will say this year in particular, his ability to finally feel pressure, get out of pressure, and actually make a completion, where last year he wasn't doing much of the completion aspect. He was able to get out of the pocket and feel the pressure, sure, or maybe he got out a little bit prematurely. They are leading the NFC North, right, Griffey? I'm not.
You're spot on there. I was in denial is all that was happening.
Yeah, I see. So I'm going to rank it based on the standings of their football team right now, and I will say, if I had to pick a quarterback to lead me right now, it is Mr. Caleb Williams. And Griff and Gar has his hands in his face, and maybe that's rightfully so. So maybe it's Jordan and Caleb at their 1A, 1B. But what I know and what I'm seeing is that Caleb has 7 wins or 7 wins in the NFL, dude. They're 3 wins away from playoff aspirations. This team and the guy with his hands in his face is, hey, he picked them to be last. I know he did to start the year. And so they have elevated their game to now have playoff aspirations. I have a ton of respect for it, and that is at the hands of Caleb Williams. And so trust me, he heard Gar. He heard Gar and plenty of other Bears fans around the world, and he has come up to play this year. And so give me Caleb Williams at number 1 right now. Now, we get 2 out of 3 weeks of Bears-Packers football. That's incredibly exciting. And so ask me that question once that 2-round bout is done. I cannot. That is a stretch of football I am so excited for, because Bears-Packers football is best when there's both of them pining for Lombardi aspirations.
Well, it hasn't been too often that's been the case. Certainly when the Packers did get it done with Aaron was about the only time, because the Packers were so bad in the 80s and so forth. But I think you're right, Schmidt. I think these next couple of weeks are going to go a long way into determining what the retrospective would say on who the best quarterback was in the NFC North when we look back on it at some point in time. But I think you're disrespecting Mr. Jared Goff a little bit there. He's thrown 21 touchdowns, 4 picks. The reigning, defending NFC North champions. I think we got to give him his due. I will give Caleb Williams his due in one area, and that he's got to be the slipperiest quarterback I've ever seen. The ability to elude defenders in the pocket is incredible. So I got to give him his due for that. He makes plays that, frankly, I don't know if anybody else can. But he misses a lot of layups still, too. So the jury's out, in my opinion, on what that's going to look like long term. The Bears have won a lot of football games without him throwing many touchdowns. But I think you got to look between Jordan Love and Jared Goff for the top of the NFC North, Dad. What do you think?
Boy, I'm chomping at the bit. I've been scrolling back and forth to the Bears' remaining schedule, Schmitty. How many wins have the Bears got for the rest of the way? They got the Packers twice. They got Steelers. They got the Lions. They got the 49ers. And they got the Browns. They might have 2 more wins for the rest of the season. Don't just get too excited about who's going to finish last quite yet in the Central Division. We shall see. My quarterback ratings are Goff and Jordan Love, 1A, 1B. You pick the one. Goff's got the more touchdown passes. I think you got to give him credit. I'm pretty sure that Caleb is number 4, JJ's number 5, and I got Malik Willis ahead of both of them. So Malik has got athleticism a lot like Caleb, better accuracy. And so we'll just see how it all is fitted. Put Malik Willis with Ben Johnson and let's go. Let's start a team right now.
You got Malik Heath out of him too?
Who? Malik
Heath? No, I'm just throwing out Malik's there.
Did I say Heath?
No. I'm just grasping at straws.
Rolling, was I?
You were rolling for sure, but we better talk about the impending matchup this week, Schmitty. I'm going to be there with my wife and my wife, of course, is a Vikings fan here, and I've been determined the last couple of times here that at least one of us has to be happy on the road home if it's a Packer-Viking game. And the last time we went out there for one of these, Kirk Cousins tore his Achilles. The Packers got smoked, and neither of us were happy. So do you think there's a reasonable chance to expect that at least one of us is happy on the way home this year?
Boy, do I hope so. I can't imagine. Oh, what a drive was that? Did you guys stop at the Torpedo on your way home to drown your sorrows? That's a recipe.
Well, I think we have
disaster.
some insurance with any quarterback injuries. Hearing how laudatory my dad is about Malik Willis, this sounds like the Packers are safe either way. And if JJ goes down, the Vikings get to see Max Brosmer, so we should be pretty safe.
Yes, I'm okay. I firmly believe that one of you will be happy on the way back to Minneapolis. It'll all be good. One of you guys will be listening. You guys actually. You should turn into K-Fan.
Yeah.
On the way back, you're either going to have the call-in line of Sappy Sorrows, or you're going to have your wife be incredibly happy that they're all hyped up about their team. And as I talked about earlier, they've turned the corner. They've at least found a way to beat the Green Bay Packers a bunch of times. So, as far as what I believe is going to happen in that game on Sunday, like. JJ McCarthy's not a good quarterback at this point. We can all firmly believe that. And anyone that would say that the Packers aren't a top 3 defense operation right now, shame on them, because they really are. And while they didn't get to stop the Giants, the Giants and other teams that we've played this year, they're playing against our defense slightly differently than necessarily the tape would indicate how they would play most other teams. And I'm saying that simply because we have really solidified our edges. Our linebacking core is one of the best between Quay and Edge. I mean, maybe the best duo in the NFL, really. And you got Xavier in the back. Teams are exploiting that up the gut run, and so we need to find a way to handle that. If we do that, if we're able to keep 33, Aaron Jones, one of my favorite running backs in a Green Bay Packer. If we're able to keep him and Jordan Mason to contain him to 2 yards a rush, 3 yards a rush when they're going up the A gaps, I think we have a very successful game defensively. Offensively, Griffey, the jury is still out whether Are you have Josh Jacobs, who likely won't play. Okay. Malik Heath, who you just talked about, he was a healthy scratch. He didn't even travel with the team. So there's some issue there. Okay. A locker room issue, I presume. Our offensive line played really well, as I stated earlier. And I think that they need to, again, make no mistake, the Vikings have a very senior defense, and they are going to give us a lot of help. And so I'm concerned that Jordan Love might just have one of those mistake games where you're just scratching your head wondering why this kid just threw an insane ball to Christian Watson up the sideline for a touchdown. Why did he just throw 3 picks? And I've said in the past in the season that Jordan's going to have an abomination of a game. We're going to lose it. Well, folks, it ain't going to happen this week. We're not going to have an abomination of the game. Jordan Love is going to run rampant on this team because they suck. The Vikings suck so bad, Griffey. They are terrible. They are a terrible operation. That Kwesi Adolfo-Mensah, he sucks. They don't know what they're doing. Think about this, Griffey. J.J. McCarthy is an absolute failure. And so now, because they've spent all of their cap, all of their assets, could you imagine the Vikings, the purple, being bad for a decade, Griffey? They are going to be horrendous for such a long time. And you thought the Vikings, it was their turning point. Guess what, baby? It's our turning point. We are now ascending 3-0. So just put the green G every time we get to the segment, the next 2 episodes, because the Packers are going 3-0 right now, and this is the start.
Mark them down 3 in a row.
Mark it.
I love it. Dad, 3 in a row, you in?
Let me see here. I got this. I gotta mark this down. 3-0. I'm on the Schmitty bandwagon. I'm ready to run through the wall for him. That was a hell of a good speech. The purple always makes me nervous. I don't know. It shouldn't be. Can we light this kid up like we did the BYU quarterback a couple years ago down at their place when we brought all kinds of pressure? And if we do that, if Mr. Halfley listens to me and we line up those 2 backers in the A gaps and we bring them and we don't bring them. Hey guys, when's the last time we blitzed Edgerrin Cooper? I mean, he's been the gray ghost this year, and he misses that tackle in the backfield last week that could have really changed the game. So this is the game, and I think Edgerrin Cooper and Quay Walker might be the keys. If you see them getting sacks, tipped balls, letting balls fly up in the air to be intercepted, watch out. This could be a get-right game. If you see us sitting back and letting them play the underneath game and complete short passes and get the running game going so they can get play action down to Jefferson, trouble. I can't not pick the Packers, but I am a little more nervous than Schmitty because...
Is this a must-win?
You know, it should be for the sake of LaFleur because we lost 2 times to these guys last year. We're a superior team. We have a superior quarterback. And if we don't win this game, it means we have a greatly inferior coach and a game plan, and it'll just be evidence of what we've been worried about for quite a while. So, Coach LaFleur, I've tried to put you a little bit on blast, tried to get a little heat going up your backside, and we're going to see how you respond now. Because now if you get Malik Willis out there and run some of these trick plays, game over. Coach Halfley, if you turn Edgerrin Cooper loose up the middle and get a little pressure on this kid, will wilt like a fire in Chicago fire in Minnesota. So let's get her done. Enough fooling around.
The Chicago Fire in 1871 or whatever it was there.
Right.
Yeah, we're going to tear through there, except we're playing in Lambeau, so let's not have any fires, in Lambeau this week.
Sideline.
Yeah, exactly right. We'll contain it to that sideline. I hope our quarterback's on fire. I think we're due for a little bit of a blow-off top type of a game. And maybe this isn't what we can expect every week going forward, but I think we get a little bit of an offensive explosion. At least show us what we're capable of. We saw this against the Cowboys. We saw a little bit of a blow-off top there. Let's get back to that and at least show what we're capable of. I want to see some points on the board for the Green Bay Packers offense, and I think we're going to do it. I think Christian Watson continues to build upon his rapport with Jordan Love. He's been gone for a while, but when he's out there and he's healthy, he's a weapon. I think Matthew Golden gets going again here soon, and even Derek's boy, Romeo Dobbs, he's going to catch the football. We know he's got good hands. So I like to see those guys gel and get it together, and I get to drive home happy, and I'll do my best to console my wife on the ride home. How's that sound?
That sounds good for you.
Schmitty, do you have any words out there for the Packers Corner faithful?
27-7 against the team that created this little silly chant. They have literally no history. This is
they stole it from the Iceland soccer team, right?
This could you imagine having no history and they're just making things up on the fly? An absolute terrible organization. So I'm very excited to see us go in Lambeau, finally get one of those resounding wins that we've been wanting for a while. Griffey, when you go out to Green Bay, there's a little place called Kroll's, right? Just around the stadium. Please indulge yourself. Maybe have some Kroll's. Maybe stop in for a Johnsonville. Okay. Have a great time. All of Packers Corner is behind you. Go in and lead us to victory, my friend. I am going to be down in Wisconsin. I won't be at the game, but I will be in Wisconsin and in with the faithful. I'll have about 9 brats before we kick off because that's this Wisconsin faith. It's Bible to us. Cheese curds and brats, and I hope many of Packers Corner faithful can enjoy those delicacies of Wisconsin and that we win on Sunday afternoon. God bless.
What kind of cheese is Schmitty going to have with those brats, Dad?
Well, we got a hot scoop first for the listeners, for the faithful, for Packers Nation, for all of our faithful subscribers and listeners, and they deserve a scoop. We have there's a rumor going on that we will open up the window for the return of Mr. Jaden Reed, and would you believe, way from over there on the West Coast, the scat back of the
don't say it.
Marshawn Lloyd's window may be opening this week on Wednesday. It could be just what the doctor ordered for the divisional games coming up. Could we have a back with a little speed, kind of shades of our beloved Aaron Jones? Who wouldn't he look good in green and gold right now? Oh my goodness, we need him. But Marshawn Lloyd could be that guy. You throw a little 5-yard little swing pass out and he goes for 20, like the Lions guy that they have over there, number 0. And so there's some good news. Now, on the cheese front, I got the purple wine cheese. Did I say purple wine? I meant port wine. I think I
there
meant
you go.
Purple
wine cheese and purple crush.
Purple wine.
Port
wine cheese. Let's make it happen. Let's speak it into existence.
I love it. Well, pleasure to be with you, gentlemen. I'll give them everything I got over at Lambeau Field on Sunday, and we'll be back in a week's time.
If you bring back a victory, we're going to have to send you to every game. After what you did in Pittsburgh with Schmitty, we're just going to have to pony up. I'm sure
I think Schmitty deserves
like and subscribe.
Yeah, Schmitty deserves the lion's share for what we were able to get done in Pittsburgh. There, he had us set up in the hotel, so we got to walk over to the stadium and take it all in, and he really had us set up for success. So maybe we'll have to get together for a playoff game if we're fortunate enough to be playing in the postseason.
Wants to see that lost episode with the video.
Oh yeah,
the stadium catching on. You need that video on the jug machine because you can send it straight over to 1265 Lombardi for all the DBs and wide receivers to see what a old washed up 10-year graduated college receiver can do without any practice, for crying out loud.
The video for me at Acrisure. Yeah, we gotta get that on here.
We gotta put that in. We'll put that in.
Send me that video, Schmitty.
I will. We're putting that in this episode. We have to.
All right. Gentlemen, well, I'll put it at the beginning of the next. I want to see people
Yes.
see it, right? In case they get bored of us here. So, gentlemen, I hope you have a good night, and we will be back next week, same time, same place.
Victory.
See y'all.
Love you all.